welcome to that energy of love and inclusion and grace as we embrace the Easter story metaphysically today. I want to begin by letting you know that we're going to have a series of videos today. Becca Palm has worked with the Pacific Northwest region again, just like she did at Christmas, to create a series of themed videos for this holiday. And we are going to see all 5 of those videos. You're going to see some folks you recognize. They are a deep blessing to me to have been able to sit with these videos. And so we are going to open with the first of those videos, and then we'll have some prayer. Go ahead, Monica. Can you share the first video with us now?
Out of the dark,
out of the dark,
here comes the light,
here comes the light,
dawning within,
dawning within,
my heart and mind.
my heart and mind.
Out of the darkest night,
Out of the darkest night,
here comes the morning light,
here comes the morning light,
dawning within,
dawning within,
my heart and mind.
my heart and mind.
We can rise,
We can rise
like the sun so bright,
like the sun so bright.
roll away
Roll away
every stone in my way.
every stone in my way.
I am live
I am alive
in a world divine.
in a world divine.
I am live,
I am alive.
I am live.
I am alive.
Out from the cave
Out from the cave
of old beliefs,
of all beliefs,
all of my chains
all of my chains,
I now release.
I now release.
Out from the darkest cave,
Out from the darkest cave,
out from my old beliefs,
out from my old beliefs,
all of my binding chains
all of my binding chains,
I now release.
I now release.
We can rise
We can rise
like the sun so bright,
like the sun so bright.
roll away
Roll away
every stone in my way.
every stone in my way.
I am live
I am light
in a world divine.
in a world divine.
I am live,
I am light.
I am live,
I am light.
I am live.
I am light.
And so we take the sacred breath together. Anchoring in the spiritual truth, I am life. There is only one life, one power, one presence, one infinite beingness. I am, we are fully aligned with it. We have our being in it is closer than our neck vein, nearer than our hands and feet. We cannot be separate from the infinite creator. We are at one with life. And we breathe in this awareness and we surrender to this awareness and we allow ourselves to be poised for an awakening this day, for a resurrection, for a renewal. We allow ourselves to open our hearts and minds to the possibility that we might rise up, that we might release and renew this day. We simply stand on the precipice of possibility and allow ourselves to be fully present to the people, to the music, to the message, to everything that is about to unfold. I give thanks for all that has gone into the production and creation of this spiritual experience this morning. And I give thanks for those who have kept the divine appointment and are in this virtual room ready to rise up. And I open this service with a grateful heart, knowing we are a blessing and knowing we are blessed. And so it is. Amen. That was some good music, wasn't it? Gosh. So that was Unity of the Valley down in Eugene, Oregon, and some of their musicians, some of their folks, and their minister was the keys guy and the singers. So they have some lovely folks down there. Welcome to Unity of Bellevue, the place where we are waking up to the spiritual truth of who we are. We know here at Unity that we are here to love God. We are here to love one another. We are here to grow in our spiritual understanding, to learn and grow and deepen in consciousness so that we may know more and more fully who we are. And we are here to from that place of awakening, from that place of greater love, of greater consciousness, we are here to serve the common good. And so that is our practice. That is who we are. And that is why we are a community. Welcome into the love vibration that is Unity. Welcome particularly on this Easter Sunday as we deepen and celebrate in the idea of crucifixion, resurrection, being lifted into a greater truth. So there are some folks here who have made this service possible this morning. I want to acknowledge them. First, our meditation service this morning was from Lori Coleman. Thank you, Lori. Beautiful job. I'm so grateful for you and for the energy and the life that you bring to our center and to our meditation this morning. Our board host today is Jean Paul-Matier. Thank you, Jean, for showing up in big consciousness on the business side of our center. Our producer this morning is Monica McDowell Elvig. She's also our center administrator. And you all know, most of you probably know what an amazing human being she is. And she doesn't make a bad Easter bunny either, let me just say. Monica will also be giving us our announcements a little bit later in the service. So these are all the folks who are making it possible for us to come together this day. And I also want to acknowledge all the musicians from all over the Pacific Northwest and Becca Palm, who pulled it all together into all of the videos that you will be seeing later this morning. And you are going to see some familiar faces. I think I said that earlier. So thank you, everyone, for bringing us together in the purpose of awakening to the truth of who we are. Let's begin to practice that awakening by reciting our offering affirmation, not our offering affirmation, by reciting our Easter affirmation. And so I'm going to read through this once, and as I read it through, I invite you to just open your heart to the truth, to the wisdom, to the power of these words. And then when we're complete, you'll have an opportunity to declare them aloud and with conviction with me. So please just open your mind and your heart for a moment and hear these words. Out of the darkness of the long night, the dawn has come. I rise to meet the new day, filled with faith, refreshed by the living spirit within me. I roll away the heavy stones of old ideas, and I rise up to the new reality of love, peace, and grace in my life. And so it is. Breathe that in. And now please declare these words of truth with me as though you really mean it. Out of the darkness of the long night, the dawn has come. I rise to meet the new day, filled with faith, refreshed by the living spirit within me. I roll away the heavy stones of old ideas, and I rise up to the new reality of love, peace, and grace in my life. And so it is.
As the sun paints the day bright, I see my soul a blazing light, bursting forth from a wintry tomb. A lily white opens to bloom. So now I step upon this holy ground to let the true me shine around. Oh, I rise to shine, for this is who I am. Hallelujah, hallelujah, light divine. Hallelujah, hallelujah, joy sublime. This is hallelujah, hallelujah, holy alive. Hallelujah, hallelujah, I rise to shine. Taking a stand upon higher ground, leaving old thoughts, I claim the profound, that I am peaceful, loving and wise, one with all the earth and all the skies, blessed to shine with glory, to illuminate our sacred story. Oh, I rise to shine, for this is who I am. Hallelujah, hallelujah, light divine. Hallelujah, hallelujah, joy sublime. Hallelujah, hallelujah, holy alive. Hallelujah, hallelujah, I rise to shine. With eyes anew, I see you too, a radiant light, the world aglow. Now love can flow, a glorious sight. Hallelujah, hallelujah, light divine. Hallelujah, hallelujah, joy sublime. This is hallelujah, hallelujah, holy alive.
Wow, that was so beautiful. That was a music team from Unity of Salem. And I'm touched by the music and I'm touched by the message. You know, can we allow ourselves to rise up out of the muck of life and simply shine our light forth? And to get to that message, I actually want to go back 1 week in time. We didn't really honor Palm Sunday last Sunday. It's also an annual tradition in which it's an opportunity, if we wish, to take a look at the return of the master teacher Jesus to Jerusalem. He was going to Jerusalem for Passover. It was, you know, like you were supposed to go home for Passover, just like we kind of like, I got to go home for Christmas. I got to go home for Thanksgiving. You're supposed to go home for Passover. And so he was traveling toward Jerusalem. And you know, he was he'd been in his ministry for about 3 years now, and he knew that things were going to wrap up pretty soon. And as he was getting ready to go into the city, he had walked all the way, and as he was getting ready to go into the city, he said to his disciples, "Somebody go get me a donkey." And so they went and they got him a donkey, and he got on the donkey and he rode the donkey into Jerusalem. This is significant, y'all, because you know, riding the donkey, that's, you know, you're not riding a steed, you're not riding a horse, right? You're riding a donkey. It's a symbol of humility. It's a symbol of humbleness, humility, a symbol of availability, a symbol of I am teachable, a symbol of, you know, I'm just like all y'all. I'm riding a donkey, and I'm available to the word, to the infinite, to the teachings of the Passover. And here I am. And I come to my home no better than anyone else, even though I've been in ministry for 3 years, even though I have this powerful message of truth that I'm teaching. And there were a whole bunch of people, and this is why we call it Palm Sunday. According to the story, they were waving their palms, and if you watch Jesus Christ Superstar, they were singing, Hosanna, hey, Sana, Zana, Zana, ho, right? And it was this big celebration as Jesus is coming into Jerusalem. And it was a celebration because they thought he was coming to set them free from the Romans. They thought he was the prophesied king. And so that was the celebration. Now, interestingly, that was one procession that was coming into town. There was another procession coming into town, and that other procession was the Romans. The Romans were occupying Jerusalem at that time, and because of the Passover festival, the Romans were a little nervous. There's going to be a lot of, you know, Hebrew people. There's going to be a lot of Jewish people here, so we'd better bring in some reinforcements in case they start acting up. And so on the other side of town, there's the army coming in. Men on steeds with armor and swords. They are geared for battle, and they are expecting the worst. And for that procession, the people are kind of like, yeah, whatever, you guys. A lot of resentment, a lot of, no, because these were their occupiers, do you see? These were the people who were occupying their territory. And so I want to open this message with a question for you. Are you, let's see, how do you walk through life? Which procession is your procession? The Hosanna, Hazana, humble, teachable, on a donkey, available to what life has to teach you? Or do you travel your road home geared up for battle? How do you walk through life? You see, we're all on the journey home, aren't we? Ultimately, here in this human form, we are headed somewhere. Sometimes we don't necessarily know exactly where it is. There is a spiritual reality that is beyond this physical reality, and that's where we're headed, and that feels like home to me. Am I on my journey home, humble, teachable, available to what the universe has for me? Or am I on my journey home, geared up for battle, expecting the worst? How do you walk through life? Now, you know, some people might say, I'm not sure the peaceful, humble way of walking through life is exactly the way to go because, you know, it didn't really turn out that well for Jesus that week, did it? You know, he was betrayed by Wednesday. He was sort of tried on Thursday. He was crucified by Friday. But you know what? The part of the story that is the most important as we think about how do we walk this journey toward home is he was resurrected on Sunday. He was resurrected on Sunday. You know, he didn't have the greatest week in the world, but my God, did he have a terrific Sunday. He ascended on Sunday. So let's talk about this crucifixion for a moment. What is crucifixion? It is literally, if we think about crucifixion, you're literally bound or nailed to a cross. Literally bound or nailed to a cross. Now, what is a cross? Think about, I know you can't see me very well, but if you think about a cross, it's a human form, isn't it? Do you see me? It's a representation of a human form. And the cross Jesus was actually crucified on was probably a cross like this, probably. That was more typical. It's kind of evolved into like this. But think about it as a human form. And think about, where does a cross meet? The crux. What does crux mean? Crux literally means cross. The crux of the problem is, the crux of this situation is, what is the crux of the cross? It is right here. The center of the cross is right here in the heart part of us. And I am bound, when I am crucified, I am bound to this cross. Probably nailed. He was probably nailed to the cross. Can you imagine the pain? Can you imagine the discomfort? When have you been nailed to the cross in your life? When have you been in pain? When have you been felt as though you're just lashed to this thing and there is nothing you can do? You are helpless. You are at the mercy of life, if you will. Think about that for a moment, because I want to talk about Jesus's mission. Why was he here? He told us, well, he didn't tell us, we weren't there. He told Pilate what his mission was. When he was sent to Pilate to be judged, they said, you know, we're gonna, and Pilate was Jewish, right? He was, they said, you know, we're gonna let your own people judge you. And Pilate was like, you know, what are you up to? And Jesus said to him, I was born for this purpose. I was born for this purpose, to testify to truth. I was born to speak truth. And those who can hear truth can hear me. I was born to speak truth, and those who can hear truth can hear me. Do you kind of get that implies not everybody can hear truth, right? But those who can, those who are on the donkey, those who are available, those who are humble, those who are teachable, those who can hear truth can hear me. And he said another thing in another part earlier in the New Testament. He said, I have come that you might have life and that you might have it abundantly. Do you see? This is his mission. It's why he's here. I have come to speak truth. I have come that you might have capital L life, not little nailed to the cross life, capital L life of abundance, a life of joy, a life of peace, a life of grace. Then why am I feeling nailed to the cross? Why was he nailed to the cross? So much pain, so much helplessness. Without the crucifixion, there cannot be a resurrection. Without the crucifixion, there cannot be a resurrection. What does resurrection mean? It's a great word, resurrection. The root word means to surge. It means to rise, to surge. It has a connotation of sub or beneath. We rise, and on all those Latin words always means again. So we rise again. We surge again into the truth of who we are. And part of the story is, the disciples, after he's been crucified on Sunday morning, the disciples go to the tomb, and Mary is with them, and who is maybe a disciple, hard to know, but Mary, his mother, sorry. And they see the stone is rolled away. How can that be? The tomb was sealed, and they go in, and Jesus isn't there. And the disciples are like, yeah, okay, whatever. And off they go. And Mary stays, and she's looking, and an angel appears. And at first she doesn't really know who it is. And then she realizes it's Jesus. And she says, teacher, do you see? Teacher. He's her teacher. I have come that you might know truth. And if you can hear truth, you can hear me. She says to him, teacher. And he says, Mary. He speaks her name, what she is called. And she starts toward him, and he says, oh, don't touch me. I'm ascending. Back off. I'm busy doing my work. I'm ascending right now. Let me do my work. I have come that you might have life, that you might have it more abundantly. I was born for this purpose, to speak truth. Can you hear me? And right now, I'm doing my healing work from the crucifixion. So don't touch me right now. Have you ever felt this? Just leave me alone right now. I'm working on my stuff, right? And this is, in some ways, it's both my favorite and my unfavorite part of the story. She runs back and says to the disciples, hey, he's alive. And the disciples don't believe her. Like, come on, you guys. This is Mary. But they don't believe her. And then there's a series of other things where they do step into believing. But my point here is the resurrection, when we've been nailed to the cross of our lives, the resurrection is the inevitable result if we are doing our work. And with no crucifixion, there is no resurrection. And so Easter is the time that we celebrate the symbology, if you will, the ideas of arising into the awareness of truth, the ideas of owning the stuff that feels painful to us. The thing, it's like, you just got to stay in it. And one of the things Jesus said as he was nailed to the cross, one of the things that he said just as he was about to die, he said, my God, why have you forgotten me? Why have you forsaken me? Why have you, what is the other word that I love the most? I can't think of it right now. Why have you forsaken me? Why have you forgotten me? Have you ever felt this way when you're nailed to the cross of your life? Oh God, why have you left me? How come I can't get it? What is wrong with me? God, I feel so alone. You see, when we're given, when we're walking home, right? We're on this trip home, and there's two ways we can travel, right? We can travel on the donkey of humility and teachability and willingness and learning and being present and growing, or we can travel all geared up like the Roman army, right? We find ourselves perhaps of two minds, like there is a mindedness that goes with each one of those ways of traveling. The mindedness of humility and teachability is oneness, unity, spiritual truth, something worth seeking, that there is a way of being in the world that is worth being open and present to. And our other mind, when we're walking all geared up for battle, is fear, duality, ego, an absence of love. You see, if the one way of walking in the world with love, or duality, with unity or duality, with a consciousness of oneness or a consciousness of separation, sometimes we think that hate is the opposite of love, and that's not true. Fear is the opposite of love. If I'm not loving, I'm engaged in that because I am in the mind of fear. If I'm not behaving in a loving way, it's not because I hate you. It's because you've triggered some fear. It's why, I see a lot of stuff around about, about hate, about people behaving in hate when they're really just believing in separation and duality. And it's not hate. In my opinion, it's fear. People are just afraid. And if we can work with the fear, then we can help rise up. We can help ourselves and others rise up into the spiritual truth to key into this mission. Can Jesus's mission be our mission? I was born for this purpose, to speak truth. Can that be your mission? And for anybody who belongs to truth will hear you. And those who don't belong to truth or don't want to know truth or are still too busy up here on the cross, they won't hear you, but maybe they will at some time. You see, and we move into judgment about, well, you're not doing the work. It's like, no, they're just geared up for battle. They're Romans. They're scared. They're afraid of what the people might do. That's all. They're just scared. It's all right. Let's work with the fear. Let's be present to the fear and love the fear. And this two-mindedness, the crucifixion energy is the energy of where fear prevails, where maybe it's a divorce, maybe it's a pandemic, maybe it's riots in the streets. Maybe this is your crucifixion today. This is the cross you are nailed to today, and we must be willing to be in the experience. Or maybe it's a small thing. Maybe it's the wet towels on the bathroom floor. Maybe that's your crucifixion today. Sometimes the little things get us bigger than the big things. Usually when the big things are opening up a kind of a cauldron of fear, if you will. For me, when there's something big going on, the little things really get me because I'm not addressing the big one. What cross am I nailed to right now? What is the fear that is keeping me stuck? And you see, if I can be in the crucifixion, Jesus was just present in the crucifixion. And he had one little crisis of faith where he said, oh, my God, why have you forgotten me? Why have you forsaken me? Yeah. But I love it that happened, because when I have my crisis of faith, when I'm like, oh God, what is it? Come on, please. I remember, even the master teacher had that moment. Even the master teacher had a moment in which he felt forsaken by the infinite. And he still ascended. He was still resurrected into the newness of being. You see, resurrection is the spiritual response to the pain. Resurrection is the spiritual response to the crucifixion. Ascending is being present to, what is happening right now. Oh my gosh, my long-term relationship ended. Oh heavens, someone I love has passed away. Oh geez, there's a pandemic going on and I'm really 500,000 people have died and I'm nailed to this cross right now. But can I be present to the experience to the degree that I can learn and grow? And I might, backslide every now and again and think that the infinite has forgotten me, but I regroup and I hang on. And when the time comes, I am ascending. When the time is right, I rise up. I am lifted into a newness. I resurge. Don't you love that? The resurrection. I resurge into that mindedness of oneness and unity and wholeness and perfection. And yes, ultimately love, capital L love, that love that is beyond anything. That love that is unconditional. That love that beats my very heart, that love that breathes me, that love that created me. I resurge with that. I resurrect into that mindedness, into that consciousness, into that awareness. Wow, okay, but how do I do that? Well, it's interesting. When you're on the cross, all you can do is be on the cross, right? We have to be on the cross consciously, right? We can be on the cross in the mindedness of fear. And the mindedness of fear is, you know, the world is out to get me. Why do these things always happen to me? People are always, you know, my life never works and everything is bad. And see, here I am again, another bad thing happening. And see, that's the Roman army approach, right? I'm geared up for battle. I'm hacking away at what I perceive to be my problems. Humble, teachable, available to what is happening. And the one way of being creates nothing but more opportunities to be crucified, right? And the other way of being, as we learn and grow, we find ourselves in that crucifixion less often. And here is something we must do to sustain ourselves during this process. How do we rise up? What sustains us in doing the work, in hearing the truth? Remember, Jesus said, if you belong to truth, you can hear me. You have to belong to truth. If you belong to truth, you can hear these words. How do we belong to truth? Spiritual practice, all y'all. We engage in our spiritual practice. You know, I was thinking, you know, if I, like, how do I start my day, right? How do you start your day? You know, somebody I love really a lot starts their day every day with Fox News. How do you start your day? Media, social media, the news? Or do you start your day getting present to the beloved one? Do you start your day belonging to truth, declaring, I belong to truth that will set me free? Because this other stuff, you know, media, blah, 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 this stuff is going to crucify you. Now, and I'm not saying pretend that, I'm not saying pretend that stuff isn't there. Just don't do it first, right? I mean, we need to pay attention to what's happening in the world. We need to pay attention, you know, we need to pay attention to the news. We need to know what's happening because there's prayer work to be done in it and there's social work to be done in it. But don't start your day that way. I was thinking, you know, if I was driving to Portland, one of the first things I'd do is check my gas tank. Do I have enough gas to get where I'm going? Do you have enough spiritual gas in the morning to get through your day? Is your tank full enough in the morning to get to evening or to get to your next spiritual practice? See, we have to fill up with truth every morning because we belong to truth. And if we don't fill up with truth, then we forget that we belong to truth. And then we actually have to practice throughout the day. Like we fill up in the morning, right? But think about how does the gas work in your car? I make sure I have enough gas to get to Portland, right? I get behind the wheel and I start driving to Portland and a little bit of gas is going through the system all the time, right? And so all day long, I am just allowing and allowing and allowing truth to trickle through my consciousness, to trickle through my awareness. I am dedicated every single day to being a living expression of truth. I am greater than fear. I am greater than anything. And at the same time, I walk in humility. I'm riding a donkey through life. I am greater than any fear. And yet I am humble and I am teachable and I am awake and I am alert to the good. And I dedicate myself daily to truth. And when I start to run out of my little truth gas, I sit down, I get quiet with God again, and I gas up again. You see, this is what's going to sustain us on the journey home. This is what's going to support us and provide us with all the energy that we need, is our practice of the presence of the one mind, the one heart, the one beingness. I must practice every single day. I'm still going to get crucified, right? But that practice is going to help me remember to be humble. Is going to help me remember to be teachable. And I can move through that and resurrect or resurge more and more quickly. And so let's turn within and practice for a moment. I invite you to bring your attention to your breath and to feel your breath as it moves effortlessly in and out of your body. I invite you to allow yourself to be present to the journey within your mind, within your heart, within your being. What is your journey home? How are you traveling? Are you traveling humbly, easily, teachably? Are you traveling willing to learn, to grow? Or are you traveling geared up for battle? Are you traveling weaponized, suited up, a shell around your being? And whichever answer is yours, you simply allow it to be. And if you're traveling geared for battle, I invite you to begin to see the possibility that the armaments might be softened. Just begin to see the potential for you to move into an attitude of humility, of willingness to learn, to grow. And allow yourself now to see, what is the cross you are currently nailed to? It might be a transition, a change in your life, a leaving, a coming. It might be internal feelings. It might be an external experience. What is crucifying you right now? What cross are you nailed to? Where are you living in fear and duality? Where are you living in an absence of love? And just notice if you're feeling forsaken by the infinite in any way in this situation. Then begin to breathe in to truth. Breathe into the truth of oneness, of unity, of ease, of grace, that truth that will set you free, for you have the ears to hear. You belong to truth. Jesus' mission: I was born to testify to truth. Gently and effortlessly allow that to become your mission. What is the truth in this situation, in this condition? What is the spiritual truth? And begin to see yourself aligning with truth, with love, with unity, with oneness. Begin to see yourself embodying the spiritual response. And begin to see yourself ascending, rising up out of this bondage and into the truth of your being. Into an infinite awareness of all that transcends, resurging into a consciousness of oneness, of unity, of presence, of grace, and of love. And begin to feel this truth permeate every part of your body, every corner of your awareness. Every moment of you is alive with the truth of unity and of oneness. And allow yourself to know that as you ascend, you can take all the time you need. For you have the ears to hear, you have the mind to know that you are at one with the infinite and it will never forsake you. And now give thanks for this rising awareness. Give thanks for this experience of unity and oneness. Give thanks for the truth that has been given you this day. Give thanks for the surge in love that you feel in your heart and in your mind, in your body. And so it's with a grateful heart that I close this message, knowing that we have been transformed. I am so very, very grateful. And so it is. Amen.
Christ has nobody now but yours. No hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes through which he looks, compassion on this world. Yours are the feet with which he walks to do good. Yours are the hands with which he blesses all the world. Yours are the hands, yours are the feet, yours are the eyes, you are his body. Christ has nobody now but yours. No hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes through which he looks, compassion on this world. Christ has nobody now on earth but yours.
What a beautiful song. Thank you. My name is Jean Palmatier. I'm your board host for today. This is the part of the service where we welcome visitors. So if you are a visitor, please join us every Sunday. We really enjoy having you here. And if you would like further information about Unity and what it is about, what we believe, all of that kind of stuff, please reach out to one of us. I'll put my phone number in the chat before we're done here. This is also the part of the service where we talk about our beliefs as they relate to the business part of the center. The first song we heard, it had the words, "Out of the darkest cave of my oldest beliefs, rise like a sun so bright, roll away every stone in my way. I am love, or I am life, I am light." I grew up with a sense of lack. I wasn't New Thought at that time at all. And the only way to get ahead was to save, don't give. I had a Roman army approach. This represents the very opposite of New Thought. For the last nearly 3 years, those of you that know me here, and into the light, because at Unity of Bellevue, we engage in giving as a spiritual practice. Financial gifts represent our commitment to waking up to greater consciousness and to ultimately to creating a vibrant and spiritual community. And you can find out how to give through our website. But what you give is not important. It's about the spiritual practice, the practice of oneness, the practice of belief, not fear, the practice of flow. With that consciousness in mind, what I'd like you to do is join me in our offering blessing. And then the next time that you give to Unity, please reach into your heart and think in terms of the consciousness of abundance, not of fear, not of any kind of lack, but that we are taken care of. There is enough and the universe is vast. Rising out of our old beliefs, we will come into the light. So please join me in our offering affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
And so it's with a grateful heart that I bless these gifts. I bless the giver. I bless all that is unfolding around us, for I know that the infinite is indeed our source of provision, and that we are at one with the infinite and we become channels through which that divinity might move. I am so very grateful, and I consecrate these gifts to the good use of Unity of Bellevue. I know that we make a difference in our own community. We make a difference in the world through the gift of our own tithe. I give thanks for it all, and I let it be. And so it is. Amen.
Hey, good morning. Happy Easter. Happy Easter, everybody. If you didn't see me yesterday, this is me. And you might recognize Linda and her grandsons there. Let me get out of the way. Woo, we had a great time. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. If you are visiting with us for the first time, we welcome you. Happy Easter. We invite you to resurge with us this year of coming out of COVID, of coming out of a kind of a death and a crucifixion. And we invite you to go to our website, unityofbellevue.org. At the bottom of every page is a sign-up sheet for our weekly e-newsletter. That's the best way to stay in touch with us while everything is online. So you can also go to the I'm New page, and you can request a welcome packet from me. All of the links are in the chat, and they will also be on Facebook in a comment. So check there if you want any links. Today, we have Q&A Sunday. Following the celebration service, we'll take a 3-minute break. It's your opportunity to ask questions of our board. Stay after and just say hi and happy Easter to each other too. Also this week, tomorrow night is Sisters in Spirit, women supporting women on the spiritual journey. If you are a woman or a woman identified, you are welcome. That's at 6:30, Zoom link in the chat. We also have men's breakfast this Saturday at 8:30 a.m. It's not actually a breakfast, it's a virtual breakfast, but join the men in discussing spiritual topics and also for spiritual support. We have Living What Matters this Wednesday at 1 p.m. It's our weekly free drop-in group focusing on spiritual practice. We're following the Book of Soul by Mark Nepo, so please join us for that. Prayer chaplains, they will be back next week for our virtual prayer circle following service. If you have any prayer requests, please email them at the email address in the link. Also, I've put in the links, our new Unity preschool website. I've also put in our links, the Unity Kids Facebook page, so you can see all the photos. We had almost like over 100 photos taken with neighborhood kids and our own Unity kids. So take a look at those. Those are very fun. And just look ahead this week for new spring classes. Happy Easter, everyone. Have a blessed week. Bye.
Reverend Marla, you're muted. Still muted.
That's so weird. I undid
Now-
myself both times.
Now you're unmuted.
That's super weird because I undid myself both times. All right, y'all, listen. Check out spring classes. Registration opens next week. We have some great classes. The practical spirituality class. We'll have a membership class this spring, so look forward to that. That'll be on Tuesday nights in May. So there's lots of good stuff coming up, and make sure you join me this Wednesday at 1 o'clock for Living What Matters. It is a drop-in group. If you don't have the book, don't worry about it. Just drop in. You'll be able to catch what's going on. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. Before our last song, I want to say two things. First, the prayer at the end of the message was Matthew and Dr. Richard from Unity in Linwood with St. Teresa's prayer, and it just brings tears to my eyes. It's such a beautiful thing. This last video that we are going to enjoy, you will recognize some of the faces in this video. It was directed by Becca Palm, and you'll see that it is really a fun deal. So stick around for a few more minutes and enjoy the song Rise Up, and stick around for the Q&A about 3 minutes after that's done. Thanks, everybody.
Good morning. It's time for everybody to get up off your seats and rise with us this morning, y'all. Bringing the spirit form to you in the house. Here we go. Rise up, it's time to move. We're gonna let it go.
Rise up, gonna find our groove, and if you're feeling low,
Rise up, come out of the dark, and before you know, if you rise up,
and just fan that spark, your love will start to grow. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Rise up, got a new start. It's a brand new day.
rise up with a true heart and laugh along the way. Rise up, here's another chance. You get what I say.
Rise up, if you love to dance, get on your feet and pray.
if you're feeling lonely, or you're thinking life is hard, so hard.
Surrender to the rhythm. And you can let down your guard. If your burden's heavy, go ahead and put your baggage down. Put it down, put it down.
Travel light and heavy makes it easier to get around.
That's right. So baby, rise up. It's time to move.
Rise up,
Gonna find the groove. And if you feel it wrong,
Rise up, come out of the dark. And before you know,
rise up.
just fan that spark. Your love will start to grow.
Rise up, got a new start, it's a brand new day.
Rise up with a true heart, we can laugh along the way. Rise up,
Here's another chance. You hear what I'm saying.
rise up,
and every night you dance.
get on your feet and pray.
And if you spill your milk, y'all, just Just get a mop and clean it up, clean it up.
No need to worry. There's always another cup. Drink it up, drink it up.
We're plenty all around us. We're gonna let that good life flow.
Gonna free our minds from the tools of time.
Gonna roll away that stone.
Dying through a former creed.
So-
Losing what we think we need. Who are we and where are we? Living in the in-between. Something new needs space to form. Have faith that we'll not take a step. Life is holding to what we know. Let's be willing to let go.
I am love and so are you. I am love and so are you.
No, there is nothing you thought can't renew.
I am love and so are you. We can be in joy now. Let's just rise up.
Rise up, it's time to move. We're gonna let it go.
Rise up, gotta find our groove. And if you're feeling low, just
Rise up, come out of the dark. And before you know, if you
Rise up and just fan that spark. Your love will start to grow. Oh, oh, oh.
Rise up, got a new start. It's a brand new day.
rise up with a true heart and laugh along the way. Rise up, here's another chance. You get what I say.
Rise up, if you like to dance, get on your feet and pray.
If you're feeling lonely, or you're thinking life is so hard.
Surrender to the rhythm. And you can let down your guard. If your burden's heavy, go ahead and put your baggage down. Put it down, put it down.
Travel light and happy makes it easier to get around.
That's right. So baby, rise up. It's time to move.
Rise up,
Gonna find the groove and the feeling wrong.
Rise up, come out of the dark. And before you know,
rise up.
And just fan that spark.
Your love will start to grow.
Rise up, got a new start. It's a brand new day.
Rise up with a true heart. We can laugh along the way. Rise up,
Here's another chance. You hear what I say.
rise up.
and every night you dance.
Get on your feet and pray.
And if you spill your milk, y'all, just get a mop and clean it up, clean it up.
No need to worry. There's always another cup. Drink it up, drink it up.
We're plenty all around us. We're gonna let that good life flow.
Gonna free our minds from the tools of time.
Gonna roll away that stone.
Dying through a former creed.
So-
Losing what we think we need. Who are we and where are we? Living in the in-between. Something new needs space to form. Have faith that we'll not take a step. Life is holding to what we know.